In news overseas, President Donald Trump condemned a lawsuit by 16 states challenging his national emergency declaration to build a U.S.-Mexico border wall. The lawsuit argues that President's declaration is unconstitutional and seeks an injunction that would prevent him from acting on it while the court decides on its legality. White House correspondent Patsy Witakoswara has the latest on the legal battle.
A series of drills by U.S. Border Patrol agents near the border with Mexico earlier this month as thousands of Central American migrants seek asylum in the United States. President Donald Trump has called the flow of migrants an invasion and declared it as a national emergency. 16 states are legally challenging Trump's declaration.
The president does not have power to act frivolously, taking the powers of this 240-plus-year democracy and using them in ways that were never intended.
Trump announced a national emergency late last week after Congress refused funding for a border wall, his signature campaign promise. On Twitter, he slammed the lawsuit and blamed Democrats.
We have absolute right to do that. I have an absolute right to call national security. We need strong borders.
The lawsuit seeks an injunction, which means Trump may not be able to build his wall while the case plays out in court.
If the government goes onto someone's property, builds part of the wall, or takes the money and starts spending it on contractors and construction equipment, those are difficult activities to unwind and pull back. So the plaintiffs are going to have a pretty good argument, in my view, that the government needs to hold off on starting to build the wall until the legal challenge is resolved.
The complaint joined other lawsuits by nonprofit organizations opposing Trump's emergency declaration. The judicial process is expected to be complicated.
Most of the provisions in the federal code for the declaration of a national emergency don't really have much of a standard behind them as to how you determine what is a national emergency and what isn't. And so it's not clear there's a judicially meaningful standard. And that's frankly a problem with the statutes themselves.
Full resolution of the case could drag on for months, even years, say experts.
At which point a new Congress or a new president may not be as committed to this agenda. There's also the possibility that Congress will choose to take actions that narrow or restrain a lot of the authorities the president is claiming to act under.
Democrats in Congress are also considering a lawsuit to challenge the president's declaration, which would add more hurdles for Trump to fulfill his promise to build the wall.